the questions, sir. Uh, Before the markets, when you entered, it was mostly the people are HNIs and big banks and foreign investment. But now the trend has changed. Most every month the inflow was from the retail investment and the small job holders, SIPs and things. It was getting huge into the market. Do you say this market is mean to retailers as well?
Well, yes, but it's still a long journey. If you see,
Yeah,
there are about 23 crore demat accounts, but
yeah,
that's more from the younger generation which wants to gamble and speculate in the market, buying the
yeah,
futures and options. A pure mutual fund, which is more of a savings investment related option, it's less than 6 crore, 140 crore population. So
okay,
there's from COVID time to now it has doubled, but
yeah,
still a long way to go. And
yeah,
the issue is that people have to have patience with the market, because you see, after the during COVID, when they joined, the markets are very very good returns for the next 2 3 years. But after that, the last 2 3 years, the returns have been not great. So people should
yes,
not get disappointed and go away from the market. So it's very important that the education necessary that the while India is going to be the fastest growing country in the world for next 10 20 years, the fact is the market will always not be the fastest growing market in the world. Market has its own
yeah,
dynamics, so there are
yeah,
ups and downs, and people have to. So a lot of education is needed, that people have to manage the volatility and understand that you don't run away when there's correction. You have to stay invested. So these things are, I think, still a job to be done. Still, learning curve is there. The excitement of the post-COVID rally in the market has caused a lot of people to enter, but how
yeah,
far they have understood the market's volatility and that the benefit really comes in the medium term, those things are still, I feel, a lot of journey to go. It's not there,
yes,
and so you have to basically keep educating people. That's the need of the hour.
yeah. And as per the SEBI, most of the retailer traders are losing in FNO, sir. So 90%, more than 90%, they're losing their money average on 2 lakhs because not most, if you take Indian population, uh, if you take out 1%, remaining all income is below, I think, 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs. So most of the FNOs losing 2 lakhs. So still they will come back to the market, or it's what do you
You
think?
see, those people, the F&O people, are not the investors. They
Yeah,
are speculators. If you actually have real statistics when people play poker, or the Indian
mm,
version of poker, which is thin,
yeah,
right? People will be losing the same amount. They never
yeah,
admit their losses, but that's a gambling instinct in people, which they do. So I don't think that these people will stop. They will continue. They will hope that one big profit from a big share will wipe out all the losses, and they keep on putting more money. The more they lose, the more they put. So I'm not
yeah,
sure that that's coming from a nature of gambling and speculation. These are not investors, people, right? So if you see in the F&O, so I would not qualify them as investors and treat them
yeah,
with that kind of a approach. You cannot go and tell he wants to make a quick buck. He wants the
yeah,
excitement of the trade.
yeah,
He loses money also, he doesn't mind, he wants to put even more. So you can't do anything. This is a mental thing, right?
yeah,
So you just leave them be. They will understand. The problem is that many people are pledging their gold, pledging their land, pledging everything and putting, and number of suicides is increasing because people have lost a couple of crores in the market by just borrowing, and they don't have the way to repay when it does. So it's a social thing that is a big, big evil, social evil. This is from a social perspective as we addressed. But like I said, these are not investors. So
yeah.
they are not. They are coming because of the excitement. So I
And
would say they are not
yeah,
the real. They
and
will, when Bitcoin is allowed in India, they will come and trade in Bitcoin also much more actively.
yeah, yeah. And sir, the social media affect most of the, I think, young generation who are studying like bachelors and things. They are inspiring by the social media. The people saying one stock, it will go high, skyrocket, and they came into the market, and suddenly the stock fall to 10%, like that happening. So many stocks, small and micro cap stocks are there. They're doing like that, and how much effect it was for the retailers. Do you want to think
No,
you
see,
was trying to?
I'm not an expert on F&O and all of that. So it may
Yeah.
not be appropriate for me to answer any of these questions because
Okay.
I'm not a trader. I don't trade. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm basically an
Yeah,
investment, right? That's what I'm looking
yeah,
at, a medium term investor. This daily
yeah,
trading and this and that and all, I have no nothing to do with that.
yeah. Okay, then we coming to the this part and mutual funds. Every month the SIP was increasing from last 1 year onwards, but you said this month it was dropped. Yeah,
It's not
and
dropped, it is flat.
yeah, it's flat.
Yeah.
But net was dropped. It's
No, that's okay. I mean, that's all because somebody's started a 3 year SIP, 3 year finished, it goes out. So then you say that more SIPs are closed than open. All these are false statistics. See, if you're invested for 3 years, the 3 years is over. You invested for 5 years, the 5 years over. Naturally, your SIP will stop. It is not
okay.
that people are redeeming the stopping the SIP because they're panicking. I'm not sure that that is the case. It's just that people's needs are maturing. Some amount of people may be prematurely closing, but there is no panic in the market. The SIP book is last month was 31,100. This one is 39,800. Just some 200 crore, 300 crore difference is nothing.
Yeah,
So I think that the SIP as a culture is a thing growing. Yes,
yeah,
because of the volatility, maybe new SIPs that much are not being added, but it will stabilize once now that the war agreement has been signed. You will
yeah.
see that
It's
the mood will come back and it will come back. So I think that SIP is a good thing because it aligns the investment with the earning income of the person. So I think that is the main thing of SIP is that when you get your monthly salary or monthly rental income, you're putting it
yeah.
away as investment. So that discipline it enforces on the people. So I think that is the real benefit of an SIP.
So there is other option of investments other than SIP. The people are. Do you think people are going towards the gold or towards the houses because the banks are giving huge amount of loans for the high-rise buildings? So once they get a too much of loan, like 1 crore, it's most of their salary will go to that loan. So there is a less option to get that money back to the market. What do you
No, I'm
think?
not. I'm not concerned because I think that
Yeah,
ultimately everybody has a desire to have a home. Okay,
yeah,
so as long as you're buying the first house, there is no problem. I think it's an important thing that you have that security of your own home. So first
yeah,
house, no problem. Second is that I will say is that people uh, who invest in the real estate as an asset class, they are mostly
yeah,
HNIs. Retail
yeah,
doesn't have that much money. Now, small proportion of retail are using their salaries to buy three
yeah,
houses, four houses, five houses, six houses as a leverage. That's a very dangerous phenomenon, but
yeah,
I'm not sure that because those people are also affected by the greed because they think property prices are very rising in the new area. So if they come to the stock market also, they will be driven by greed. See, the mentality of the person cannot change. So I don't want
yeah,
to get that person who's greedy to come into the stock market with the same greed. Then he will
yeah.
again lose money because he will enter only when there's greed is prevailing and fear is happens, he will run away. So this culture, I would say, is that the people have to real estate, gold, for example, the gold has given a very good return in the last 1 year. So
Yeah,
people are enamored of the past returns, the basic thing. And it's not peculiarly Indian, even internationally. You see, after the gold prices started rising, lot of investors started putting in gold ETFs, even in
yes,
abroad. So it's a natural human tendency that what is going up, you want to be part of the journey. You want to board the
yeah,
train which is already going from the station. You want to jump on the train, which is a
yeah,
human thing. You can never stop it. You can
yes,
advise them how much ever you want. You can sit on the top of the roof and talk, but you will not get through to them. You will not listen. People like to board a journey which has already started, which is a market which is giving returns. The danger is that if you get in early in the journey, you will still see some
yeah,
returns. The problem
yeah.
is that after 3 years of returns, you're joining. Naturally, you will be in for some disappointment. So I think that that is where literacy and education matter a lot to explain to people that the ups and downs of the market are a part of the journey.
Okay. And my concern is not about some big like a high earners. Sir. My concern is like I take an example of my friends. I just completed my bachelor's in 2019. So most of the friends will get like 50,000 salary, but they are trying to buy a 1 crore house and keeping their 70% of their salary towards the EMI. If they, due to you seen that due to AI effect or IT jobs, that is leading like a big default for them. When they lose the job, the home they can't pay, more mental stress for them. uh, is that most of the IT software moved the trend of reality very high. The most of the buyers in Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore for the high rises are softwares, but now the AI effect was affecting them. So, what do you think
Well,
about that?
see, I would say that even if you advise them, they will not listen to you. So
Yeah.
it's waste of time to talk to them. So they have to burn
Okay.
the finger, they have to suffer
Yeah.
the loss, then only will learn. Life is the best
Yeah.
teacher. If they are
Yeah.
going to doing that, let them burn and suffer, because you can't, textbook, everything will be right in the textbook. Do we really follow the textbook? Each one has their
Yeah.
own. So if they want to buy the 1 crore house, they will buy it. Even if you advise them against it, they will do it. So this
Yeah.
is not about that. The fact is that he wants to, show the people that he is capable of buying 1 crore house. So it is
Yeah.
that ego and that thing which is coming to. So you can't change it. No, how much ever
Yeah.
you advise them, they will not listen to you, because he wants to show to his neighbor and his friends that I'm bade ghar mein, I'm staying on a 1 crore house. So that is the human nature. I'm just saying that. So let them burn their
Yeah.
fingers. They'll let them go. They'll see their friends are losing their job due to AI. Then they will realize
Yeah.
it's a natural cycle, is what I'm saying. Because
Yeah.
you can try to advise them. If they are listening to us on this Instagram channel, you can
Yeah.
advise them, but it will not. They will not understand it until they actually suffer the loss. See, it's just like
Okay.
stock market trading. You tell them not to do F&O, he will still do F&O. So I think that
Yeah.
you and I sitting and talking and saying that that is a bad thing or good thing doesn't make a difference to that person. So
Yeah. So your voice is broken again.
know that
Yeah.
the stock market, the real estate market, the gold market are all basically rotating asset classes. Some point of time, one asset class will do well. The story is very simple to capture it, is that whatever you are investing, you have a goal in mind. Second, always make a diversified pool of assets to achieve the goal. Never depend on
Okay.
single asset class. Third
Yes.
is that always invest systematically to achieve that goal, because nobody has the corpus right at the beginning. So you're mostly salary earners or monthly earners, you set aside a portion of the money which you want to save and spend what is the rest. Don't spend first and then say what is the rest.
Yeah.
First you decide that what is your goal in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, what you want to do with your life, what are the aspirations you have, because all of this savings and investment is nothing but you're postponing today's consumption to tomorrow. Because
Yeah.
today you can buy a Maruti car, you want to buy tomorrow a Benz car, right? That's your aspiration. So only by saving and investing you can achieve that goal. So keep that goal in mind. When you have the goal in mind, then you will not be worried about markets going up and down today, because your goal is very
Yeah.
far away. So
Yeah.
simple solution to this is invest with goals. That is my suggestion to people.
And this question is asking by so many investors. The thing is, IPOs are coming into the market, like big IPOs, and they are coming into the market after every uh, squeezing is happened after, because the venture capitalists are taking most of the wealth, and they are coming just as an IPO to exit from the market. Before, if you see, like 10 15 years before, the Infosys came at the starting, like early stage, like at the 100 crore market pack, it went to the nearly 4 lakhs crore market cap. But now the company is coming into the market already coming with high market caps. It has a capability to double, and the money not if it has a good numbers, it will double. But if most of the companies having negative returns, they coming into the market, and most of the mutual funds are participating in it. uh, what you think of IPO?
See, I think that uh, IPOs are a very important part of a capital market, because unless the private equity and venture capital is given an exit, they will never invest. So the
Yeah.
equity market is the exit valve for them, and there's valuations there which make them to invest the early stage. Otherwise, entrepreneurs will never get money unless there is
Yeah.
the chance for the capital market to give good returns. So that's one thing. Second is there is nothing wrong with the venture capital making money and pricing it at the right price, because for it to
Yeah.
maximize its earnings. Now, from a retail person to participate in an IPO, right? The issue is that the uh, IPO, anyway, you get a very small proportion of
Yeah.
the allotment. So instead of buying an IPO during an IPO, you can buy an IPO post listing to
Okay.
participate in the, because some companies like SpaceX will go up 50% after the IPO
Yeah.
listing.
Yeah.
Some companies will
Same.
correct after the IPO listing. So what my suggestion is that go for the whenever you see all IPOs are not about venture capital exiting.
Mhm.
Some IPOs are where the company wants money. The promoter himself wants to dilute, stay away from the IPO. If the promoter is not having confidence in his business, you should not be touching the business. Okay,
Yeah.
that's number one. Number two is that a company which is taking the money for replacing its debt, it's a very good
Yeah.
company because he's
Mhm.
using the equity market to repay the debt because debt is a fixed cost. So he's bringing down
Yes.
the fixed cost, he's improving the risk of the company. So it's a good IPO. Third is if a company is bringing an equity because he has capital expenditure plans, wants to do capacity expansion. That's an excellent thing again because what happens is that the returns will come in the future from the capital expansion. Immediately,
Yeah.
market may not recognize, so the price will be cheaper compared to when actually the capex is finished and the company launches the products of the enhanced capacity. Its earnings will
Yeah.
come. Your before it time you have to wait for the capex to be finished, right? So choose the IPOs. But my suggestion is that applying to an IPO is not a big deal. How you deal with the IPO after listing, that's the important thing. And if there is a correction in the price, understand why. Because the venture capitalist has priced it to the perfection. Naturally, there will
Yeah.
be a lot of people selling it who get the QIP, who get the allotment with that discount, right? So they want to
Yeah.
make the listing gains. So they are
Yeah.
selling. But it's a good time for you to enter, provided the company's prospects are good. Third is that always participate in the IPOs which are completely new businesses because there the market is also confused about how to value it, right?
Yeah.
But it's good in your portfolio that you're adding something new which is different from what is already there. So it
Yeah.
should have a proportion. So I would say that to any investor, 10 to 15% of your portfolio can be in IPOs. Like I said, the basic rules are buy the share after listing.
Yeah.
Two, try to avoid where promoter is selling. Try to generally
Mhm.
avoid where venture capital is pricing to perfection unless there's a correction after listing. Third is buy those where the equity is being raised to repay debt or the equity is being raised for fresh capital expansion plans. Those are good IPOs, but when you buy it, again, you have to hold it for at least 3 to 5 years because when they do
Okay.
that, the growth will come after the capex is finished.
Yeah.
So if you are willing to do it that way, can do it. But otherwise, the old days you mentioned Infosys, those days it was a different market. Every IPO was
Yeah.
priced very cheap, so on listing
Yeah.
and everything you got. Today the market is a self-discovering mechanism. So the market's price, especially if the company is coming, which is already the other companies are there, the price is
Yeah.
already discovered. So there is no juice left for retail investors to enjoy. And so the speculative people, like F&O people, there are speculative people who want to do for listing gains, who in fact go and
Yeah.
buy in the gray market also. So those
Yeah.
people, like I said, that's not something that I'm comfortable
Uh,
with these people. They are all gamblers who are trying to do that. So that's a different completely. But IPO, as long as it's giving you a completely new industry to the market, right, is a
yes.
good addition to your portfolio.
And my concern is not about the IPO listings. Sir. The thing is, they can raise the fair value with the fair price in the market. Uh, I think better than the venture capitalists, the people will pay fair value if they have a good numbers and a good industry and good sector, and they are coming very late. comp- uh, like after getting huge market cap. What do you say for the entrepreneurs who are like they can come to the market to prove and then they'll give the fair value by then retailers also participate in that cycle. What do you think?
No, no, that's not
No?
the way capitalism works.
Yeah, no?
Capitalism doesn't work that way. Capitalism, everybody will try to maximize their wealth. So the issuer
Yeah,
of the IPO will maximize. He's not giving a free lunch to retailers saying you make money. He is not a
no.
socialist. That is
Yeah,
capitalism. Capitalism is everybody is. So buyer beware. Caveat emptor is
yeah,
the Latin word for it. The buyer beware. So the
okay.
investor beware in the IPO. The other person will always try to maximize the money he can make from an IPO. So there is nothing wrong. That is the model of capitalism is like that. So there's nothing
Okay.
harmful about that. They are not existing to for retail people to make money. They are not
Mm,
socialists. They are
yeah,
not there to help all the mass democracy, everybody to make money and all. No, no, no. Capital market is meant for profits. People want to
okay.
maximize the profits, and everybody has to maximize their profits. So that's the only way capital market can function. And so, if you have seen that movie Wall Street,
Yeah,
right, Gordon Gecko, the hero's character, says greed is good. Right, that is the
greed is
base. of capitalism, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying that is the basis. You cannot change that. If that is not there, the people will not even come into the market issue. The whole capital market will not exist.
Okay.
Capital market transfers money from the weak to the strong, from the poor
Okay.
to the rich. That's capitalism. So
But
you have to
now,
be smart
but
about it.
now,
You cannot complain
now,
about it.
now all the mutual fund companies saying the poor also become rich by the markets.
Who's become rich?
The poor will become rich by the markets.
No, but the poor have to, they are not yet investing. And I told you, no, less than 6 crore
Okay.
people in 140 crore
Yeah.
population are investing. So where is the
Yeah.
poor investing in the market?
Yeah. So, okay, sir. Thanks for the IPO thing. You clarified most of that. So, what do you think about now India? From last 2 years, every other markets was with the good returns in the war situation as well, but India was behind after giving so many like 12 lakhs tax free and RBA liquidity. All the good things was given by the government, but the market given the bad returns.
I think the market will continue to give bad returns
Yeah.
because the reason is that we are not a AI friendly country.
Yeah.
Okay, the market today wants only AI. There is a craze and a frenzy for AI. FIIs feel that that is the fourth industrial revolution, that only the
Mm.
companies and the countries which have adopted to AI will grow
Yeah.
super fast compared to others. So India doesn't have a big AI play. We will be a AI user play, which will take some time to happen. But
Yeah.
getting into a semiconductor, all of that, now we are starting the journey. So until
Yeah.
the attraction for AI is there, foreign investors will prefer that. Second is Indian valuations are still not cheap. They have corrected, but they're still not cheap. They are around the long-term average of the country, and they are still at a premium to the other emerging market. So it is not easy. The war had actually hurt the Indian economy and the market a lot. Now that has gone away. So to that extent, I will say that the outlook for the market is that there may not be much downturn, but to expect a big upturn also is not so easy because we also have in the near term the monsoon El Nino effect. So the monsoon is
Yeah.
also not looking great. So to that extent, in the near term, there are challenges for the Indian economy, and even oil price has come down to $78. But before the war started, it was $65. So Indian
Yeah.
economy is still suffering another $15 more oil price than before the war. So the impact of
Okay.
that will be felt. So I think it's important to be patient. It's not expect the you see the war announcement happened last Friday. In the last 1 week, market has only gone up by 5%. So it is just
Yeah.
some kind of a relief rally. It's not really a sustainable thing. It will happen over medium term because India will continue to be the fastest growing country in the world, as the fastest
Yeah.
growing economy. But that is already in the price. So
Yeah.
now we have to wait for some positive surprises, or we have to wait for the AI bubble to crack. Right now, there's a frenzy in AI, and foreign investors are interested only in AI. So until
Yeah.
they change their mind, until they feel that AI is overvalued, now we can't control that, and we have no way of knowing when it is overvalued. So SpaceX IPO, everybody thought it was overvalued because after listing, it has gone even 50% more. So from
Yeah.
overvalued, it's become super overvalued. So the market is unpredictable. So people who are seeing that now you are going to get the Claude, the OpenAI is also going to come with an issue. Anthropic also is going to come with an IPO. So the craze will even increase more for that, and they will also try to get valuations like SpaceX. So that craze period is there means India will be not the darling of foreign investors. There will be some long-term investors like pension funds who still invest in India. We will get
Yeah.
some basic investments, but the short-term investments will not come to India because short-term they see AI as a much more potential, and the valuations compared to their growth rate. AI companies are growing 30 to 40% in their EPS growth, right?
Yeah.
And even America market with S&P 500 is growing 22.5% EPS growth. India, what large cap is growing only at 10 to 11% EPS growth. So
Okay.
economic growth, India is very good, but stock market, right? I think it's going to be a consolidating market and not a roaring market for the near term future. You have to wait for the situation to change. So the monsoon
Yeah.
can become better, or the Indian growth of the EPS. See, next quarter earnings also will not be good because the full
Yeah.
war impact will be there. So
Yeah.
Q1 earnings, as it is, the numbers will not be good. Q2 earnings may be better. So I think near term, it's going to be a consolidating market. And so to expect that because the war has gone, immediately stock market will start giving you 20, 20, 30% return. Is not correct.
yeah. And the thing is, the US companies, the new age generation companies like Anthropic, ChatGPT, they got tremendous market value. As long as the older companies, also like semiconductor companies like Intel, Qualcomm, and all the older companies, they changed their business model, and they also participated in that trend. Uh, and why the Indian companies have like a 200 300 billion capital market, they not, why they not changing the trend, are they not participating in the trend for the new age companies? Like if you see Google, they're spending a lot of money, like 70% of their money on the AI infrastructure, and still our companies thinking that it is a risk, and they just participate, want to participate in a service model of them.
Hmm. So I would say that the problem is for this. It's not just the companies, it's the economy. That India is the only country in the world whose
Yeah,
population is increasing,
yeah,
whose young people population is increasing. So India needs to create jobs, not to kill jobs. AI's job is to kill jobs. So other
yeah,
countries, they are already having high cost of labor. They have an aging population. Their new babies are not getting born enough. So they have a
yeah,
need for AI to substitute man-made work with a machine work, with the software work, with the AI work. So India is
yeah,
not the case. We need to create jobs. So no political formation in the government, whether opposition or main, can afford to promote AI very strongly and cut the jobs. The banking sector in
yeah,
India, IT sector in India are huge employers. So we cannot adopt it in our traditional industries and have people. You mentioned it a few minutes ago how the IT industry is suffering because of the AI related job
yeah,
loss. So you cannot expect. So the only way for India in the AI world is that when the free trade agreements and the bilateral trade agreements are signed, like now already Europe is signed, UK is signed, America is hopefully going to be signed in the next month or so, then the jobs which are contracted into India of the new industries which are not
yeah,
today's industries, those jobs, right, is where you can straight away introduce AI. So instead of creating 100,000 jobs, you may create 10,000 jobs, but there'll be new jobs. You are not replacing existing 100,000 people with the 10,000 people, and you will not laying off 90,000 people. You're creating new 10,000 jobs, which is good because it was not
yeah,
there earlier. So that is the way forward, and that will take time because you have to sign these agreements. They have to come up with some localization with the foreign MNCs. Then they have to make the tax structure better for the foreign MNCs to come and then invest in
yeah,
India, create new jobs. One area where that is beginning to happen is the data center. I think
yeah,
Indian government has taken a very forward-looking view about till 2047 we will not tax the data centers. So with that, the data center there's a boom going on, which are new jobs in the data center getting created. That is fine. So we cannot, however, go and transform our banking industry or a software industry into an AI industry and lay off people because there are so
yeah,
many livelihoods, mouths to feed. So India is the peculiar. We are a standout nation in the world where we are the youngest population, and we will
yeah,
be adding more and more people to the workforce for the next 15, 20 years. So it's a different challenge, and that's why India cannot just jump into AI and say I'll do AI in everything, right? It's a
yeah,
socio-political crisis there, right? And any government which promotes it that way will lose the elections because job creation
okay,
is the biggest need of the hour. So you have to understand the reality of India. That's India. Now there will come a
yeah,
time when that India is be respected for what it is, but we cannot go and change our colors. A leopard
yeah,
cannot change its spots. We cannot
okay,
afford to be uncaring of our people. We cannot adopt
yeah,
AI and say, no, but what about job creation? We have to provide jobs for the young people. So it's a
yeah,
tough task, and that's why I said that it's not going to happen. When the AI bubble cracks a bit, when the right now
yeah,
everybody is chasing that, that's when people will say, "Oh, what is the alternative to AI? I am overexposed to AI in my investment portfolio." Then India will do attractive because we are at
yeah,
diversified. And one more thing I'll tell you about this whole thing uh, is that all the AI countries are dominated by few stocks.
okay, yeah,
Taiwan market is dominated by
by
TSMC.
teams,
Indian
yeah,
market is only by Hynix and by Samsung. So,
yeah,
whereas India is the one country where the stock market has a representation of banking, of consumption, of capital
okay.
expenditure, of technology, of
It's a
pharma,
diversified, yeah,
right? So but that today that diversified is looking boring to an FII because he
yeah,
wants only the cherry in the pie. He wants to pick only the cherry and eat the cherry, which is AI. But tomorrow he will realize that he has to feed the rest of his stomach also, that everything cannot be AI. You'll get indigestion if you only have AI in your portfolio. You have to have a
And
balanced diet. So that
yeah,
when it will happen, I cannot predict, but it will
yeah,
happen sometime. So people have to be patient with their investments in India until
yeah,
that happens. But lucky part is that because of the SIP book and the DIIs, the market will not fall too much. They will keep
yeah,
supporting it. But to have a big rise, we need the changing in the rest of the world to change. The thought
yeah,
processes to change. That AI, how much of AI can you put into your investment diet? That is the question.
yeah.
But I can't predict.
Thank you.
Market may go even
Yeah,
higher before it corrects.
yeah,
We have to
yeah.
be just patient.
So I'll take some questions from your response, sir. So the first thing is, US is trying to stop Indian H1B holders mostly by AI. So that by that effect, Indian remittance will decrease. Yeah, if they
No, no,
if
no.
more they
I don't agree. This is all India. If you see the H1B visas, we had what 77,000 visas, and hardly 10 to 15% of this was by Indian companies. Most of
yeah,
this was by Microsoft, Google, Accenture, the foreign companies who are
yeah,
doing. They'll find other ways to do that work. So this H1B and all is a big scare. It's nothing
yeah,
to do. I don't think any remittances to India will stop. And anyway, the key point is that America will also come to the realization that there is certain work they cannot substitute. They are increasing the cost of the H1B visa, which the Google and the Microsoft have to pay, and they will pay it. So the
yeah,
American government will make some money out of it. But I don't see that they are substituting because of AI. No, that is not at all the case because these software, see, Accenture is obviously hurt by AI, and that's why his earnings guidance is coming down. That's a
yeah.
different thing. It has nothing to do with Trump and H1B. That's the
Okay,
business of the AI. That has nothing to do with H1B. So these people, what will happen? Instead of H1B, they'll find a different way to do the work. They'll outsource the work to India. See,
yeah,
the near shoring versus the offshoring. No, if you're doing
yeah.
onshoring and near shoring, like you can put in Canada
But
and Mexico and put. So, but this is, I know you're a young person and you're in the clue with the IT. So, this seems a big problem. But for the
yeah,
nation, out of crore of people, 77,000 visas per year. How
yeah,
does it make a difference to our crores here? It's nothing. It's
yeah.
just more hype, media hype. Is in your world it is important. I agree that for the youth
No,
people,
sir, I'm just saying
friends are there, they are there, they are
real.
affected and all. As a country, it's a rounding
Yeah,
of error in our life here.
okay. Yeah, the problems makes always stronger. Yeah, and the second question is, recent job data. Have you seen the jobs was increased in US?
Yes.
But the AI was going, the AI investments was going, but jobs also increasing in as per the data. And the third thing is, you said the banking will not take the AI in India, but Goldman Sachs, all are they are adapting very as quick as possible of AI.
Naturally, because Indian banking is different from Goldman Sachs banking.
Yeah,
Goldman Sachs banking is different, right? India and we are still a lending banks. America
yeah,
and all, no bank lends. They only originate, book it, and distribute it. It's called OBD, right? They
yeah,
don't lend their own balance sheet. So the nature of banking in abroad is completely different. It's more of investment banking and those kind of a things. Indian banking is completely different. We're still serving the rural population. Still, needs to be serviced, needs to give in loans. So don't compare the Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and Morgan that with the Indian bank. They are two different industries. They completely operate
yeah,
in different environment and everything. And Indian banks cannot adopt AI uh, because they cannot afford to sack the people. You understand? This is
okay,
very
yeah,
similar to
yeah,
what happened with computerization 3 decades ago, right? So AI will get blended into the banking work. They may stop fresh hiring, but they won't lay off the existing people. Yes, some VRS may come, something may come, but we will be slow to adopt it. As India as a country, we will be slow to adopt it because, like I said, for us, creating jobs is more important than
important for
reducing
them.
jobs. As a country, we have to understand that. That's our priority. To whatever happens to the world, let them do. We have
Yeah.
given birth to so many young people. It is our job to provide jobs to them. As a country,
And yeah, do you think the younger generation who are doing already jobs need to upgrade the skills as well of AI? That will
they
help
will
for them.
automatically do it. Yeah, it's a demand and
Yeah,
supply because
yeah,
AI related hiring is giving much more salaries than the basic software hiring. So
okay,
automatically, the Indian youth are very smart. See, Indians as a country are very smart people. That's why most of the American multinationals is headed by an Indian. So we
Yes. Yeah.
adapt and we learn, and we are very good at that. So AI also, the youth, I'm not worried. The youth will quickly realize that AI is the future. They will go and enroll for AI courses, and they will be on top of it. So I'm not at all
Yeah.
worried. The middle-aged people, I'm worried. Those who are in their
Yeah.
40s, who have been working
Okay.
in the software, and they, for them to change the mindset, right? They
Yeah.
have to work hard, and I hope they realize it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
the middle management is where you will see the job losses hitting. And these are the people who
Yeah.
already taken a housing loan, bought a house, bought a car loan with
Yeah.
a car, and family is dependent on them. High school education fees they are paying. Suddenly they lose a job, it will be a crisis in the country, right? So the middle-aged people, that is the challenge, not at the entry level. At the younger
Yeah.
people, they will adopt. They are Indians are very good at adapting to the new things that need to be done. They will do it. So I'm very confident
Yes.
about that.
Okay. And the thing about the rupee falling, RBA taken some actions like giving fixed returns for NRIs. Do does uh, does RBA uh, does RBA thinking due to rupee falling, yeah, the NRIs are not going to send money. That's why they're trying to give more returns for the NRIs like fixed returns.
No, no, no. I think it's a different issue. It is that oil price is rising,
Yeah.
so because the inflation is going up. Now,
Okay.
rupee is also weakening because FIs are pulling out money. Rupee is
Yeah.
also weakening, and the import bill is also causing a higher amount of dollar requirement. So the rupee is weakening. Now, when the rupee weakens, the landed price of oil goes up even more. If it is whatever it
Yeah.
is, some $80 is the land there, and the rupee weakens, it becomes even more inflation. It's a double
Yeah.
whammy to the
Effect.
inflation. So RBI wants to manage the volatility of the currency. The Indian currency, see, has to depreciate because the interest rates in India are higher than the interest rates in America. Right, 2.5% is the difference. So Indian rupee has to weaken. That's the rule of the law. The point is, there's too much depreciation happened, right? Not just the
Yeah.
2.5%,
10%.
10 to 14% depreciation.
Yeah.
RBI wants to curb the volatility. So, and we need today, because of the oil price, we need the rupee to be stable. So, what they've come up with this FCNRB, they are saying that to our own NRI who are interested in India, who ultimately see that for their parents are living in India, they want to send the money to India. They ultimately they feel that after their working is over in the Gulf or wherever, they will come and settle down in their retirement life in India. They want to invest in India, but because of the currency depreciation, the value of their money is going down, right?
Yeah.
And they are investing in the dollar assets. So what we are
Yeah.
doing is that same dollar asset, which is called FCNRV deposit. I'm saying you give me money and I'll give you a good return, because the hedging cost, government is going to pick it up through RBI and protect the banks from it. So today banks are offering up to 6%. Now US Treasury itself is 4.5%. So individuals may not be getting that kind of return. They may get 4% or something from their dollar investments. We are giving 6%. So the additional 2% in dollar, they are protected from
Yeah.
rupee depreciation. That
Yeah.
money comes in, it helps the country. So it is
Yeah.
basically not out of any goodwill toward the NRI. It is because the country needs dollars. And whereas if you give for an FII a hedging protection, he will take the money, but he may not, he will take it back again after the end of it. Because ultimately he has no interest in India. He'll give wherever the highest return is there. Whereas NRIs have an interest in their homeland.
Yeah.
So they are saying we'll reward you at this point. The crisis is there. Same thing happened in 2013 when Mr. Raghuram Rajan was the Reserve Bank governor. Same thing
Yeah.
happened at that time also. We needed, it was a crisis was there, and about $35 billion money came through that route. So this time also expectation is a similar amount can come through the FSNRB route over the next few months.
And the thing, other thing, like next 15, 20 years, if like it want to come by nature, no, sir, like exports, if you increase exports, then automatically rupee will be stabilized. Now, if you, how much you take actions by RBA, it want to be by nature, the rupee want to get stronger by through exports. So now in, I seen from the Indian market, one of the top export we are good at is pharma. Uh, why the government can push more in pharma because we are top generic in the world. So the margins are less for that pharma generic. So does pharma sector do well? Already pharma is doing somewhat better than other sectors in India now. So
No, I think that while we are the top in the generic,
yeah,
Trump is also looking to somehow put a tariff on the pharma. So there
yeah,
are two sections. He can't put a normal tariff. Supreme Court has turned it down. So there are two other sections, Section 124 and Section 302, unfair
mm,
trade practices, and something is harmful strategically to the US. Obviously, pharma is not strategically harmful, but they can always say the unfair trade practices, saying that you are paying your PhD is much less than you are paying
yeah,
America can pay. So they may try to
yeah,
put a tariff. So that threat is always there. See, so you cannot say
yeah,
we have to support the exports. And second is that, if RBI is strengthening the rupee, that is not good for the pharma, because pharma will benefit if the rupee weakens. No, because
yeah,
ultimately in the Indian stock market, the rupee earnings are coming, right?
yeah,
So if the rupee is going to strengthen in the short run, it's not good for the pharma earnings, because then
yeah,
the earnings will be flat. So I would say that pharma has got a good potential, but I think we have already capitalized on it as a country. It's not that we have
okay,
not done it. So future growth of this is, I think we have to get more into products. We cannot remain in generics.
yeah, yeah, that's what. Thank you, sir. So, does President Trump was a big effect for India? All this loss, most of that?
I mean, not just for India, no, a lot of countries have suffered. We have suffered
Yeah,
more because this whole war, because of the war, the oil price went up. So India was the one country which is a growing country but has a growing need for oil. And 85% of our oil we import. So naturally
yeah,
we got hurt. But it was not Trump against India. It is only a side damage, collateral damage of the war is India.
yeah,
But Trump ultimately is only interested in America, and I think now the war being over, he will now focus on getting a good trade deal, which he will portray as a victory. But ultimately, it will be a win-win situation for India. Also, a trade deal comes because our exports to America can go up. So I would say that Trump is selfish about it. That he wants to make
yeah,
America great again, and he's very
yeah,
clear. It's easier to deal with a person who's very clear, who doesn't try to be pretend to be friends with other countries. He's very clear that what is good for America is good for me, and that's what I will do. So we also have to say what is good for India, we will do. So we have taken a very good stance, and diplomatically, India has done very well. We are the only country in the world which is friendly with Iran, with Israel, and with America.
yeah,
Okay, so we have, I
yeah,
think, handled it diplomatically very well without trying to go and solve the war like Pakistan is doing. We have managed to keep it. So we know Iran. You know that we have helped to build the Chabahar port in Iran. Iran has got a stake in the IOC in our company here. We have a
yeah,
very old, going back to thousands of years relationship with Iran. It's not like yesterday or today. The Irani population in India, there is Iranis are there, the Parsis, all from Iran only. So we are very good. We are
okay,
very good friends with Israel also. Because one day
yeah,
before the war started, Mr. Modi was in Israel meeting them.
yeah.
All right,
And
and Mr. Trump
he
also
was
keeps
still
calling
good
Mr.
with,
Modi a great friend.
yeah,
So what I'm trying to say is we have managed, at the same time we have kept our self-respect. We have kept our thing. When Russia Ukraine war happened, we bought from Russia oil. So we, I think, are that way, have managed diplomatically very well. But
yeah,
economically, we have suffered consequences because that's a we are nature of economy is dependent on oil, right? Manufacturing is dependent on oil. So
yeah,
I would not say that. See, Trump, yes, he called India a dead economy at some time. He put additional 25% tariff on India. So
yeah,
certain actions, but they are not because he hates India. It's because
yeah,
he is selfish. He wants that
yeah,
what is good for America. He doesn't care
yeah,
any other country gets hurt. His words he will use. Hold on. Once you understand that person for who he is, right? Then you should
yeah,
not take his words too seriously. You should not allow our ego. Oh, he called me a dead economy, so I will not talk to him. No, no, no. We are not. Now also we will talk. As long as you talk on equal terms, treat us with respect, we will also treat you with respect. So I think India has come out with flying colors from this whole exercise. Even the G20 summit, right? We are meeting with all the
yeah,
leaders. Everybody is wooing
yeah,
India. Everybody wants to
yeah,
make investments in India. Everybody wants to do bilateral trade agreement with India. So I think we are the country which is going to define the next 25
yeah.
years.
Because
And
huge population.
huh?
Because we had a huge population, so they are
There's a
trying
huge
to get
population. We
yeah,
have the smart people. We have the young people who are willing to work hard, right?
yeah,
Who are very intelligent. With all their evidence is there. And I told already that
yeah,
all the MNCs, so many MNCs are
yeah,
headed by Indians. So we have the
yeah,
talent, right?
yeah,
And we have the growth potential. So we next to 20 years belongs to India. But
yeah,
like I said, the main problem we have to fix is how to create jobs. The second problem is how to reduce our dependency on oil. Because as the country grows, the oil requirement is going to grow. Unfortunately, we have not found any big oil reserves yet.
yeah,
So because of that, we are heavily import dependent. And so that situation to manage. So government is focusing on alternative energy a lot, focusing on EVs, focusing on blending ethanol into petrol. We are trying to solve the situation in multiple ways, but
yeah,
that's the tough part for India.
yeah. And Trump always mentioning in the trade deal, India already taken a lot from us because normally it works like that. No, sir. Before the bigger economies give a chance for the smaller economies to gain and to stabilize like that. But Trump is different. He want equal partnership in the trade. Like how if you take 10%, we will take 10%. He is doing like that, and he want to dump lot of his agriculture, Jennifer modified products to the India, but India is trying to save its farmers a lot. That's why this trade deal is not happening. It taken 1 year. The concern was there, most of the media reports, and he want India to import lot of his oil. But our refineries are, I think, mostly towards the Middle East type and Russian oil, and he that's why this was happening. If like bigger economy like 20 trillion economy is trying equal thing like our 3 trillion 4 trillion economy, what do you think? After Trump goes, it will change or it will stay like that?
It will stay like that. That's the way of the world. See,
Yeah,
it's always a battle of everybody trying to protect their interests, right?
yeah,
Indian leadership will protect Indian interests, American leaders. We have to find a midway path. And whether it's Trump or it's Biden or whoever comes to power after Trump, the economic situation will not change, which is the need of the hour for America is that because of outsourcing, he felt that white Americans were not getting jobs and they were
yeah,
unemployment was rising. Though latest data is showing now it's rising, but that's because of AI related jobs also happening. So the point is that very simple is that economy versus economy, this fight will continue. And everybody has to bargain. We have to maintain friendships at the same time, tough negotiating, which we are doing. So I think that all you mentioned about genetic model, all those are harsh realities of life, and we will fight it because we cannot allow our farmers because still 70% of India lives in the rural areas
farmer.
and the
Yeah,
jobs, right? We have to. They are dependent on that. So we will never give up on those. Those are red lines for us. So
yeah,
this battle will continue. We can never have a perfect solution. So
yeah,
it's give and take will be there, negotiation, trade. It's like, imagine when somebody hijacks a plane, you still negotiate with the hijacker, no? Because there are
yeah,
30 people, passengers on the plane who you have to protect. So you give and take. He may start with saying, I want $100 million and I want this and that. Finally, you settle at some in midway point. So I'm not calling these people hijackers, but it's very thing that people come from opposite ends. You find some middle way, but where that will come is depends on negotiating. Because remember one thing, when we negotiate, the opposition in each country will say that you have sold the country, you have given up something. So you're not just yourself, you're actually the whole of India needs to
yeah,
participate in this, and everybody should
yeah,
feel happy that in the agreement we won. So finding a
yeah,
win-win, like in this war,
yeah,
both
yeah,
are claiming victory. No, Iran is also claiming
yes,
America lost the war.
yeah,
India is claiming Iran lost the war. What is the truth? No, nobody is the truth. So you have to create a solution whereby everybody can say, "I have we have won." So that will take time, but it will happen in its own sweet time.
and you seen the G7 yesterday, Modi, Trump, everyone is talking, sir. So if India becomes a good friend to America, Russia will go away, or if you are a good friend to Russia, before Russia and India has a good tie-ups now as well, but China is going more towards the good friendship with Russia. Is affect us?
Not at all. Zero effect.
No?
Russia understands practicalities. Russia
Yeah,
understands that India needs the US as a market, that for our
yeah,
country to survive, we need US. I don't think Russia is a very pragmatic friend of ours.
yeah,
They are a long friend.
yeah,
They are not going to go by this. And second is that don't believe that Russia and America are enemies.
yeah. They are,
Okay,
yeah,
that is also there. There, America is selfish about America. So if Russia can do something which is good for America, they will also be friends. So there are no permanent friends or permanent enemies
yeah.
in that.
Enemies.
Only
Yeah,
China, because we share a border, and that
yeah,
Arunachal Pradesh, that dispute that is there. So we can never be fully friends with China. But with Russia, we
yeah,
don't share any border. So we
yeah,
will be dependent. And Russian economy is not big enough to absorb Indian labor work. We
yeah,
need the American economy. We are 30%
yeah,
of the world GDP, America.
yeah,
So Russia
yeah,
understands that, right?
yeah,
Though that to that extent, there is no issue. And now Russia also is not giving any discounted oil to us.
yeah.
We are
Before it
not
given.
touching market. Before they, because they didn't have a choice. There's no country willing to buy. So they don't have
yeah,
a choice. So they all understand it. It's not like Russia is so friendly that now also is giving a discount. Nobody is a friend of anybody to the extent that they can. Everybody is
yeah.
selfish about taking care of their country. So they need the money now. So they are charging
Yeah.
the full commercial price for whatever oil they are selling now to us.
And our foreign minister has also given reply for that because after the Ukraine and Russia war, all the Europe moved towards the Middle East oil, where the availability was nowhere. Then only we went for the Russia. Otherwise, we will buy in the Middle East only if you not came. And Trump always claiming India was pumping for the war, but all the Europe gas is coming still from the Russia. He is not keeping any sanction on gas of Europe, and he is keeping sanctions on oil of India.
No, that's what.
Otherwise, the oil
So
price
this
will
is
be
all
very less.
political. These are all political. You would understand one thing. You take all this a pinch of salt. Okay.
Yeah.
They will talk like that. We will talk like that. So don't give too much importance to it. The markets don't care about all this.
Okay. Yeah. Now coming to your favorite sectors and your investments.
I don't have any favorite sectors and I don't make any investments. I'm now
No.
retired, so my
And
now I'm only taking money out of my investments for my living
okay.
expenses. I'm not making any investments and I don't have any. So since I don't make any investments, I don't have any favorite sectors. So
Yeah.
I don't.
We talk in a very good conversation on economy and US India trade and everything. And what the one suggestion you want to give for the younger investors?
Simple that the capital market, especially equity capital markets, are the best way to uh, provide for your future financial needs because it's the best asset class to consistently beat inflation. So don't ignore the capital markets as the source of your future. Use every investment you make, you tie it to a goal. Have clear cut goals so that you know when to exit. Most of the people make a mistake. They enter the market, they don't know when to leave the market. So you leave the market when your goal is achieved. So don't make any investment without first writing down a goal. Why am I making this investment? Write it down on a paper or your iPad or iPhone, wherever. Remember that. Keep tracking against your goal. The moment your goal is reached, you redeem your money. Don't worry if the market is going to come up or down. When your goal is reached, you take out your money. So the purpose of the capital market over the medium term is to help you create wealth to meet your goals, which is much better than inflation because your needs and aspirations also will grow with your life. So you want your wealth to grow faster than inflation. The equity markets are the only one which is
Okay.
guaranteed. In a short while, real estate can do it or gold can do it, and all asset class can do. But equity markets are the primary vehicle which should be the core of your long-term wealth creation, and treat the market uh, in a disciplined way,
Yeah.
consistent way, and always invest only with a goal in mind. If otherwise, I will only call your investment as trading and not an investment. The only word investment can be used when you have linked it to a goal. Otherwise, you are just buying shares, then you're trading in shares.
As
If
a
you're buying
long
a
term
mutual
goal.
fund, you're trading in mutual fund. If you don't have a goal, you're trading.
Yeah.
As a trader, then I have no advice to give you because you take your own call. In as a trader, you should keep your stop loss and book profits and trade. Okay, that's
Yeah.
different. A trading trader person has his own risk appetite. He should have when will I stop my losses if I made a bad call? When will I book profits if I made a good call? These two you decide and you trade. That's your job. That's okay. But as an investor, right, you have to set your goal. That's the single most important thing that you should keep it in mind.
Like a long term, you say like people who are the investors, they do like if you buy a piece of land, they stay like 10-15 years. But if you buy a stock, they will open the app every day and see the price. Do you want to think we want to stay for longer? Then
No,
if
I
we,
don't think you can't change people. All I'm trying to
yeah,
say is that is why I put that self-discipline, See,
yeah,
it's like exercise, right? Every day there is temptation to eat potato chips or to eat that cake and eat
yeah,
that this is that. But if you are concerned about your physical fitness and you have a goal that I want to lose my weight and I want to be healthy, you will say
yeah,
no to that. So the similar way, so that doesn't mean that you shouldn't check your weight every day. So you will
yeah,
like an app, you keep checking. But the thing is, don't forget your goal and
yeah,
don't go away from your goal, right? In the case of land, because it's not easy to buy and sell, you forget about it, and there's no public value that is displayed on your land every day. That today
yeah,
your
yeah,
house is worth so much, tomorrow it is gone up, today it is gone down.
yeah,
No, that is not there. In
yeah.
the market, is like the market, but that's where discipline, self-discipline is important.
And final question, sir. So you mentioned a lot of time job creation. Now I am seeing one of the job creation sector was manufacturing, and most of investors are going towards that. Is the next trend for India
Yes,
manufacturing?
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. No choice.
Mm.
That is
And
only where the multiple jobs are created, and that is only place where
yeah,
internationally manufacturing is uncompetitive because of high labor cost. And that's
yeah.
where India can substitute it.
And Tamil Nadu is the top in that always.
Oh, I think Maharashtra and Gujarat are also very good at manufacturing. Tamil Nadu is the car
Okay.
industry and the textile
Yeah,
industry, both are strong there. But
yeah,
otherwise, if you see, I think uh, Maharashtra and Gujarat are also very highly industrialized states.
yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah,
Thank you.
that's it. Thank you
Thank
so much for your time and thanks for that. Okay, sir. Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.
Thank you. Same to you.